Okay, time is up. It's our demo chat again. Hello, good afternoon, Kim.
Hi, Jean.
Nice meeting you again.
You too.
So today is our second demo chat for this week. I am Jean. I'm a PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology, certified pre-diabetes prevention specialist and a wellness coach. I have over 25 years experience in biomedical research, business consulting, and investment in healthcare industry at various positions.
I'm Kim Fox. I am a registered dietitian. I have over 25 years and a very diverse background in healthcare. I'm also a certified diabetes education and care specialist, and I'm also specializing in integrative and functional medical nutrition.
So our demo chat is normally it's a 15 minutes online chat. Kim and I will talk about current hot topics in health and lifestyle.
So this is our second demo chat. So we do have the other one that is posted on our YouTube channel. And we are hoping that you'll please bear with us as we continue to figure out some of the technical things that come along in doing a live chat, and as we try to figure out what our online groove is going to be. So with that, we will get started. So today's current topic that we wanted to look at is coronavirus. And in doing some research on the topic, is it possible that many or most or all of us could come in contact or be affected with coronavirus at least once in our lifetime? What are your feelings or thoughts about that? And we welcome anybody in the audience to certainly chime in on that as well. So what do you think?
Well, I think yes, at least once or many times, because there are in nature, there are all kinds of viruses, including coronaviruses. Lots of those viruses are not harmful to humans. So we can get those coronaviruses or other viruses infected, but you don't have any symptoms. But in some case, so that's what you are going to talk today, right?
Yeah. So, and actually that is what the research that I found showed, that yes, many of us will be affected or infected with coronavirus at least once in our lifetime. And that's what I'll talk about a little bit as we go along. So, you know, oftentimes if we go to a doctor, you know, we think maybe could it be a bacteria? And sometimes we're told that it is a virus. And I guess, you know, I never thought when I had a virus that it actually, when you are told you have a virus, it's not just one single entity, it's actually a family of different viruses. And in fact, these different types of viruses can be infecting plants, birds, mammals, such as humans. And what happens is that they can actually mutate, meaning that they can change, they can transform, they can become altered. And that's what happens when they cross from one species to another. So for instance, if it goes from, say, an animal or a bird to a human, that's when it starts to mutate. And these viruses are really smart. In fact, that's how they actually survive, how they reproduce, and how they develop new strains is by this mutation process. And in fact, it's these mutated viruses that are oftentimes far more serious than what that original strain is. And again, when researching this, I saw that the first coronavirus was actually found in the 1930s. Now, any idea what species this was found in? So again, if anybody in our audience has any ideas, you know, please share. What do you think, Jean? Where do you think that the virus was first found in?
Well, I think at least in kind of animal. It's from animal, right? It's just from fish, from chicken.
Okay, so let's see if she's right. Ta-da! was
Oh,
found in
I'm
the
right. I'm right.
chickens. Yeah, you were right. So it was found in chickens. That wouldn't have been my first answer. So normally we hear a lot about bats. So I guess that would have been what my thought would have been. But it wasn't really until almost 30 years later. So it wasn't until the 1960s where we actually found the first coronavirus in humans. Now, the coronavirus is actually a group of RNA viruses that, again, can be found in humans, such as, and other mammals and birds. And it's in humans and birds where they tend to cause upper respiratory tract infections. And those can range anywhere from being really very mild to really very severe or even fatal. And what I also found I thought was interesting, I didn't know this before, is that up to 30% of the common cold is actually or can be a milder non-pandemic form of coronavirus, such as we show here. These 4 forms of common coronaviruses, again, non-pandemic, can actually be where up to 30% of the common cold comes from. However, that means that the remaining 70% are coming from other types of viruses. So this is why when we started, or what I asked in the beginning is, can we possibly be infected with coronavirus at least once in our lifetime? And if you had a cold before, yeah, chances are perhaps. But then we see these other forms 5, 6, and 7 of these pandemic forms of viruses. And these are actually more serious, more fatal. These are the ones that can form SARS, MERS, and COVID-19. But what I don't quite understand or know is what is the difference between form 6 and 7, the SARS-CoV versus the SARS-CoV-2? I don't know.
Well,
idea?
I think the difference is SARS-CoV and SARS-CoV-2. Those are very similar, but SARS-CoV-2 is this is COVID-19 is just as a new virus. It never happened before. Human never noticed this virus before. Once it's get a pandemic. So it started from we think that's from animal, maybe bats, originated from bats like SARS-CoV.
Okay.
So from the genetic sequence, from genetic information, those they are very similar because those are the same. Those are not. They are both both are RNA viruses.
Yeah.
Okay. So RNA viruses. So, but look at the structure. So they have lots of similarities. But CoV-2 is a new finding. So it's a very novel. That is the difference.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Thanks. Thanks for explaining.
You're welcome.
So then we come to those other 3, those more serious, those more pandemic types of the coronavirus type. And here we have MERS, and MERS stands for Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, because that's where it was originated from. And we found this actually in 2012, and it was responsible for 858 deaths. Not only do we have MERS, but then we also have SARS. So we just looked at COVID-19 or COVID, and that stands for severe acute respiratory syndrome, COVID. And this was identified in, or what did I say? Severe acute respiratory syndrome. Oh, so many of these initials, it can get confusing. But this was found in 2002. And it had over 770 deaths. And I know that you had reported these statistics when you had gave your earlier talk this week.
Yeah, yes.
So again, both SARS and MERS are classified as these pandemic coronaviruses. And again, that's even though they have these lower death rates, why they are considered to be pandemic is because they were identified in at least 3 countries within the World Health Organization region. So It doesn't necessarily mean the number of deaths. It's just based on where those countries were, how many they were in the regions. And then our latest finding is the SARS-CoV-2. And again, this has become the more serious form of COVID-19, again, because of this virus continues to mutate. And in fact, it is estimated that the SARS-CoV-2, for every person that's infected, they feel that that person can really infect 2 to 3 people. And that's probably why it has spread across the globe so quickly. So then we kind of look at, well, what are the factors that cause a virus to spread? And there's, quite a few things. So it can depend on, how infectious that virus is. It can depend on how long does that virus live on the surface. So we see even differences in that. How does it affect the host person or population that's infected? And much of that's going to be dependent on what the immunity is of that particular person or species. Other things that can affect that can be demographics, it can be socioeconomics, it can be climate. It can be dependent, has that person or species been affected or come in contact with that pathogen before? And vaccines, of course, are also going to be a major player in that. So again, we said that there are 7 known types of coronavirus. So what do you feel? Do you think that we could possibly come in contact in the future with more types of coronavirus? Again, Jean, what are your thoughts, or anyone in our audience? What are your thoughts or feelings on this? Could we come across this type of virus again in the future?
I think it could happen. It's maybe not just coronavirus, maybe some other virus. Like last time we talked about Spanish flu, that's influenza virus. So there's many kinds of virus in the nature. So any kinds of virus, once they get into animal and then they mutate, then from animal to human. So once it's get infected, it can get really bad disease. Then that would be maybe another pandemic.
Let's hope not.
Well, we hope not. Yeah. So that's why right now we really need to put lots of effort to do the research on virus, and also looking for the methods or policies. Once pandemic happens, what are you going to do?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
So again, I told you I'd researched this, so I just wanted to share the references that I had used to expand my knowledge. Found that, I thought I knew quite a bit, but there's a lot of things that I learned. And again, I thought there were some interesting facts. So if you're looking for more information, these might be some areas to check out. And again, part of hosting this is we want to share information. We want to give our audience an opportunity to share their comments, opinions, and then we always want to make sure that we are leaving you with a health tip, something that you can implement. So today, what I'd like you or encourage you to do is, if you're like most of us now that are working from home behind a computer, we're sitting a lot. And so I'm encouraging you to, when this is done, to stand up and to do some stretching. And with the stretching, after you've done that, to maybe do some head rolls, do some shoulder rolls. And again, doing this both forward and backward. Once you've done some of that simple stretching, then I encourage you to take 3 deep breaths. Again, taking those in very slowly in through your nose, and then exhaling very slowly out through your mouth. And after you've done at least 3 of those, you can certainly do more. But then if you can think of something either good that's happened to you today or something that you are appreciative for or thankful for, ideally express that out loud. And I guarantee that if you do these 3 things today, you are going to have a more relaxing and positive start to the rest of your day and afternoon. And with that, I hope that you will join us next Tuesday, same time, same place, where we're going to be looking at immunity and its role in protecting us against COVID-19. So again, we certainly welcome your comments, your topic ideas, anything that you want to share. Again, if you've been finding that these couple episodes we've done, if they've been beneficial, if you'd please pass this on to your friends, family. But until then, we'd like you to remember that good habits promote good health, which leads to a good life. Until then, bye. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks, James, for joining me.
Very nice talk. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.